Hitachi 9-inch grinder. Broken lead. Somebody's cut the plug off it. All I need is a new lead and a new plug. Problem is, what plug? What voltage is it? Is it a 240 volt or a 110 volt? Doesn't come with a plug to know. Can't read the badge to tell you the voltage. Your two main methods to identify it is gone. No plug on the lead to tell you, and you can't read the voltage on the bag. That leaves you with three other options. One, dismantle the machine and see if you can find any part numbers relating to the motor. See if them part numbers relate to a 110 or a 240 volt. You can't go by the switch because the switch is normally rated for 110 and 240 volt. So the switch isn't going to tell you. Option 2, dismantle the machine and check the winding thickness. Check the actual winding wire gauge. 240 volt uses a thinner gauge with more windings. 110 uses a thicker gauge wire with less windings. But it's often very difficult to tell unless you have both a 110 and a 240 volt motor to look at and compare to. Normally these are dipped like this is. These are dipped in varnish, so you can't get calipers on to measure the gauge. You can Google them, get the number for the 110 and the 240 volt armature, Google it, get up Google images and compare the two on images to your own. But that can sometimes be a shot in the dark as well. Your third option, and by far the easiest, is to just go 110 volt. If it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's only half the voltage. The machine will run half speed. If it's wrong, replace it with a 240. Do not try a 240 volt first. It's 50-50 going to work. But if it doesn't work, you're going to destroy the machine. If you're right, you're right, but if you're wrong, you're going to run the machine at twice the power and you're going to cook it. Go with a 110 instead. If you're wrong, you're only going to run the machine at half power, which will do no harm at all. You're just wasting a wee bit of time having to change the plug twice. So I already know this is a 240 volt machine just by looking at it. I'm going to wire it 110 volt first just to demonstrate. Bearing shot and the retaining bolts have stripped out. Bearing's gone. Two retaining bolts totally stripped out. No threads left. 6302. Bolts are stripped out. Have to drill them out and retap them M6. Aluminium head, stainless steel bolts, a little touch of water. If you know, you know. That'll not come loose again. Now you'll behave yourself. Much better. We'll show 110 volt first. When it starts up, it'll only run half speed. You'll actually hear that it's not running correctly. Very slow. Coincidentally, you ever get a machine in for repair and it's running like this, one thing to check is always the plug. Make sure they haven't wired the live or the neutral into the earth pin. That will actually cause the machine to run at half speed. This one, you can hear that's not right. Instead of stripping the whole machine down, all you need to do is just rewire the plug. You can even use your little wire cutting guide. Now, when you switch it on, that's what you want to hear. On full speed, full power. So if you don't know what voltage it is, things come with no plug, no badge, no way to tell, always stick on a 110 volt plug first. Start it up, see what it sounds like. If it's half power, change it over to a 240 volt plug. So much for just needing a plug and a lead. You need a lead, a plug, brushes, caps, bearing, bolts, a head cleaned out and rebored, new grease in the head. More than I thought I was going to need anyway. But that's her up and running on Hitachi G23SS 9-inch grinder.